It's Daybreak here on Arise News. Time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Let's take a look at This Day, our sister publication. Headlines this morning: Tinubu begins team building, considers Gbajabiamila as chief of staff. Falana: president cannot withhold assent to constitution alteration bills. Just above that, Wike's police arrested APC lawyers filing petitions in River State. That's from Tonye Call.
All right, the Punch newspaper. Buhari, the Punch newspaper. Buhari Oshibajo, 28 governors, ministers to begin asset declaration. He has some riders, outgoing public office holders must declare assets by May 29. This is coming from the CCB official. President-elect Tinubu Shetima, 28 incoming governors get CCB form this month. And FG to demolish Lagos Airport jet hangars, April 15th. And then in that picture, Pope Kaigama preached love service as Christians observe Palm Sunday. And just below that, tank and fire worsens Lagos-Ibadan Expressway gridlock.
Guardian Nigeria this morning. Headline: religious war, Obi's leaked phone call with Oyedepo raises dust. And the leading photos there this morning. You can see the Pope celebrating Palm Sunday Mass after hospital stay.
All right, the Nigerian Tribune. Leaked phone talk between Obi Oyedepo causes furore. It is mischief, subterfuge, a deep fake Obi Dati campaign council. I have never campaigned for anybody or spoken on anybody's behalf. This is Oyedepo speaking. Obi's desire to be president has died a natural death. Keyamo says that. And then some other stories. Nigerians will not cease demanding restructuring, coming from Shoyinka. Obedient passenger to appear before Abuja Airport Magistrate. NDLEA declares prophetess celebrity couple wanted over seized illicit drugs. And we'll take you to Rivers. Rivers police explain detention of election materials after release of lawyers.
Some international papers. The Guardian UK this morning. NHS delays risk harming thousands of children. More headlines. Braverman: Brexit not to blame for chaos at Dover.
All right, let's look at some other international papers. It says Daily Express, woke politics putting women at risk.
All right, for the press review, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Let's take a look at what's going on the front national dailies. This day says Tinubu, the president-elect, begins team building, considers Gbajabiamila as chief of staff. It's reporting that Gbajabiamila has sort of unofficially even begun his duties with the president-elect in France. You also have Wale Edun and Bagudu also in high consideration for key roles. It seems the president-elect, although we're not really sure of his whereabouts or his health status, has kickstart the transition to his administration. What are your thoughts?
Well, good morning, Kechi. Yeah, but that's what they do this period. It's a period where they try to build their team. And one of the things that you'll be seeing are positions like this, like the position of the chief of staff, even at the state level, seems to be generating a lot of talk. Who's going to be chief of staff? And it's one of the first kind of appointment that people in power, people in government, president-elect or governor-elect will seek to make. And in Nkechi, it will interest you to know that those kind of appointments sometimes also show you the direction of that government, where it's going, the kind of person the president-elect or the governor-elect is. His appointment is going to be a reflection of the sort of government he wants to run, what kind of efficiency does he want to achieve, who are the kind of people who are going to be in key places. So I'm sure this kind of story is speaking to that, and it's one area that I think is exclusive for this day. It's an interesting story. It's good to know what the president-elect is doing, the kind of people he's trying to bring around him, because those will define the kind of government he's trying to have. And you're right, those issues around him are still there. Those court cases are there. It's the issue of whether he's going to be sworn in or not. Of course, it's already on the timetable. That will happen if the date comes, and if nothing, extraordinary, stop it. So, but before then, people will worry about who are the people that are around him now, the kind of team he wants. A lot of people say that Tinubu is good at that, and that he's very good at picking his men. Some people, he actually campaign on that level, that forget him. It's not about his health, it's not about his age and everything. It's that Tinubu is very, very good at assembling a team. Thus, the speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, does it come across as someone that can fit into that? We've had super chief of staff in this country. Everybody remembers late Abakari and the kind of power they possess and they wield. It's Femi, that kind of a person. So those are the sort of questions that people are asking, and I think it's only interesting because people want to know the team of the president-elect, or as a matter of fact, the governor-elect in states, because those team actually will be the ones, trying to actualize their dreams, and all, not even the person itself. A lot of people say Tinubu will have to assemble the right team for him to achieve the sort of thing that he says he's going to achieve.
All right, Emmanuel, let's continue with this day. Some interesting stories. 4 stories I'll give you. You take your pick. Reuters survey at about 1.6 million barrels per day, Nigeria's oil production was OPEC's biggest increase in March. And then just to right there, it says regulator, that's experts talking, say regulator in mode of CBN NCC needed to strengthen oil sector activities for increased FX earnings. And there's this story of congratulations to Anthony Joshua, who of course defeated his opponent. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And Wike's police arrested APC lawyers filing petitions in Rivers. Cole is alleging that, and just below the head news, new breakthrough drug dostarlimab emerges for cancer treatment.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's an interesting story for those who are interested in health matters. All of us are. That's, of course, something that will make you want to pick this day and read of that story. But those other stories, the business stories, the one on oil and everything, is interesting too. It's Monday, and normally this day we love to run with those big business stories, and those are very good stories on their own that can actually even stand as major lead story to learn that March was the month of our biggest earnings also from the oil sector. Oil is always a big issue with us, what's happening there, the issues of refineries, and these days always covering all the sides, and they're always exclusive. What we're earning, what's happening to the industry, to the sector. It is very interesting because it concerns all of us. That bit on Wike police is also interesting. Now you now have the concept of Wike police and the Nigerian police going side by side. It's very interesting to see how that is playing out in Rivers State. But then it's Wike and it's Rivers State, and all sorts of strange things happen down there.
All right, Emmanuel, The Guardian and Nigerian Tribune are reporting on this Obi's leaked phone call with Oyedepo. Guardian says it raises dust. Tribune says it's causing furore. And some writers there, Obi Dati Campaign Council, they're calling it a mischief and deep fake. And then you have Oyedepo saying, I've never campaigned for anybody. Keyamo, on the other hand, is saying Obi's desire to be president has died a natural death. On unauthorized wiretapping of private telephone conversations worrisome. There are just so many angles to this story. Tell us, what are you thinking about it?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that other part in Kechi, the one of the people type. You have a private conversation with someone, and then it's out there, it's leaked. So who is to blame? I mean, it's always worrisome. And for campaigns, this is like a nightmarish situation. If you have been involved in a campaign of any sort, and then this kind of leak tapes come out. In one election that I was involved with, a leak tape like that actually even changed the tenor of the campaign altogether. Somebody trying to insult another one, calling him a small boy, and all of that, and then it leaked. So. Sometimes these leak tapes are actually, they help one of the sides and against the other. Like in this one now, I'm sure it's very troubling for the Obi campaign, and they've try to handle it in various ways. It's not, I don't think they've done a very good job of it, because on one hand, Diron is saying that, Diron Ifade is saying that, look, it's deep fake, it's fake. But Okonkwo, on the other hand, Kenneth Okonkwo, saying that, look, no, let's manage it very well. It was taken out of context. So it's how, you don't know how to deal with this kind of situation. You don't know whether you should deny it in its entirety or you should put it in the context. And even if you try to put it in the context, the way the Obi campaign is doing, the issues raised in those lead tapes are very, they are very. If you listen to it, Nkechi, I don't know if you did. It looks like a very, it looks like a very normal conversation between a candidate who is trying to rally his base and everything. And Obi actually was looking to that demography, the Christian demography, to get more of his votes. I think the sad part of that conversation was when he said it's a religious war. But of course, Diron Ifade is saying that that's not his boss speaking. That's manipulated. In fact, the Obi campaign, brought up, or some people brought up some other kind of manipulation that can be done on voicing and all of that. But a segment of the campaign is saying, no, let's not just deny this. This conversation took place. Let's just say that it was taken out of context and all of that. I don't know if it is going to hurt so deeply. I don't know what this is going to do, but certainly it gives you an insight into how our leaders sometimes interprets those issues, whether it is in the place of the men of God. In this election in Nkechi, men of God played this very, very serious role, whether it's at the state level, and then you have all these prophets making prophecy, where that's the crisis of democracy in a third world country, where it's difficult to separate, the faith from the politics itself, and people relying on what religious leaders will say or not. It's always a very difficult kind of politics to adopt when you are narrowing yourself down to religion. And it's strange because Obi cannot say this last election was a religious war. He had Detti, who is a Fulani Muslim, as his deputy. I mean, if it were an ultra-religious war, he should be running a Christian ticket. So that, a lot of people criticizing this conversation are taking it from that perspective. And of course, you trust the APC to jump on that with Festus Keyamo, saying that this is an expose of how men of God try to actually, control things, and that it's always, backfiring. Whatever it is, it's something that I'm sure it's going to go away in a matter of days. This is Nigeria. Nothing sticks for too long. But for now, yes, it's. I think the Guardian newspaper put it best when he say it's raising a lot of concerns and worries in some places. But sadly, yes, it was an aspect of the kind of politics that we had this last presidential cycle, where religion played a very major role. Starting with even the APC said with its Muslim ticket, you can take it back to that place, and of course, eventually everybody wondering, or be making his campaigns around the churches, and the churches thinking that, well, okay, fine, we can go into this as a faith and then get something. But at the end of the day, I think we've all learned that, look, politics in this country is will be beyond all those issues. It will be about consensus building. It will be about even the transparency of the process itself. And I think that is what we're battling with right now at the courts. Who won what and how did it happen? Hoping that the judiciary will be able to clarify those fault lines along the election itself.
It should be about service too. And by the way, religion is not only here. You remember what Trump did with religion in America during the election. But we'll leave it there. We're not able to talk about the CCB and Buhari, Oshimbajo, and the rest of them. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello, there with the paper review.